Life in southeastern Pennsylvania's Butter Valley at the turn of the century was mostly about family, home, work, community, and church. It was home to Annie Clemmer Funk, born on April 12, 1874, to James and Susanna Funk, on a mill farm near the village of Bally, 40 miles north of Philadelphia. The crystal-clear water of a branch of the Perkiomen Creek drove the Clemmer Mill, taken over by son-in-law James Funk, Annie's father. In this little valley, Annie Funk heard a call, drawing her to a land far away and a destiny remembered around the world. After studying at the normal school at Westchester, where elementary school teachers were trained, Annie enrolled at the Northfield Seminary for Ladies in Massachusetts.
That was operated by Dwight L. Moody, the well-known evangelist. Her training there would have probably been very general in terms of preparing her for whatever she will have to face, a bit of medicine, hand skills for supporting herself, being able to do some construction, as well as in-depth Bible courses in music.
Meanwhile, mission sentiment was growing. An old Mennonite minister, George Lambert, who had traveled around the globe in 1894, published a dramatic travelogue, stirring the hearts of readers feeling a passion for mission work. At Hereford, a new auditorium was added to host the 1899 General Conference session, where delegates agreed to begin mission work in India, forming a commission to send immediate emergency relief, and founding a mission program. When India suffered a severe famine in 1896 and 7, George Lambert had again traveled there to distribute supplies for an old Mennonite relief committee. His second book, India, the Horror-Stricken Empire, with many photographs and horrific stories of famine, must have been on the hearts of the conference delegates who met at Annie Funk's home church and called for a response. With what urgency must these stories have been heard in 1899 by 25-year-old Annie Funk, home from the Northfield Seminary, feeling the call to mission work, serving where she could in her church's activities, waiting for a call. While waiting, she told a seatmate at a Christian Endeavor convention that she couldn't even sing. After a year and a half in India, in a mud hut near Janjgir, a village school for girls was dedicated, and Annie began her work as a teacher. Both women enjoyed good health, and Annie rode to her school on a bicycle, presented her by young people at Quakertown and Philadelphia. But she wrote that the hot season takes all the energy and starch out of one. But Annie asked to stay on the compound in 1910, as she at last could move her school from its mud hut to a substantial brick building. She wrote home,
"The money which you sent goes towards paying our teachers as well as school supplies. By this I mean books, slates, pencils, goods for sewing and the like. You may think this is all secular work, and so it is to a great extent, but by these means the people come to see that we are here to help them and not to hinder them. It is a drawing cord, and we trust that through it the children may be won to see the love of our Savior, and through them the parents. These things are bound to influence for good, even if we will never see the visible fruit of our labors."
Annie believed that the love which had drawn her to Christ would draw the people of Janjgir as well. 5 years in India had made Annie more at home there. But suddenly, word that her mother was seriously ill turned her thoughts back to the Butter Valley. Disappointed to find a coal strike delaying her departure from London for 6 more days, Annie paid the extra fare for a second-class ticket on a huge new ship leaving in 2 days, the Titanic, Queen of the Ocean. The luxurious floating castle had been trumpeted as unsinkable. Carrying rich socialites as well as many poor immigrants, she left Southampton Harbor on April 10, 1912. There were stops for passengers in Cherbourg, France, and the next day at Queenstown, Ireland. There, Annie sent off a postcard to the Penners back in Jongear, and another to her new Scottish friend, Margaret Younger. The next day, Friday, April 12th, out on the Atlantic, was Annie's 38th birthday. By Sunday, the Titanic was approaching the coast of Newfoundland, on schedule to arrive in New York by Wednesday. The course was meant to steer clear of icebergs, reported to be drifting farther south than usual, into the shipping lanes. Annie likely spent time enjoying the palatial ship and the cool, clear weather with other second-class passengers. Her story spread through the American Mennonite community. For the world, it was about the fabled Titanic. For Mennonites, especially her friends at Hereford, it was also about their devoted missionary.
Annie Funk was very much part of the memory of the community. People in this community, after the loss of her life, referred to her as our Annie. That term of endearment, I think, was very genuine and very deep. It wasn't just that she was from the community, but the community felt the loss of this vibrant personality.
The need to remember was felt by all the world.
Fading away like the stars of the morning, losing their light in the glorious sun.
Over the following half a century, some 3,500 girls attended, with Annie Funk's name on their lips and in their hearts. The Christian message was bringing life and happiness to the people Annie had loved.
Only remembered, only remembered.
44 years after the Titanic sank, Indian Christians visited Bible school children in Souderton. Souderton's Charlotte Strauss told Annie Funk's story in over 100 performances.
In Butter Valley or India, I must go.
Only the truth that in life we have spoken, only the seed that on earth we have sown, these shall pass onward when we are forgotten, fruits of the harvest and what we have done.
Though she had physically faded from the scene of Butter Valley and Jongear, a century later, Annie would be remembered for her faith and for what she had done.
Thus would we pass from this earth and its toiling, only remembered for what we have done.